All right, Shalom. This is Hara One by Nyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. When I say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Today's lesson is going to be on a book called The Hidden Cities, The Discovery and Loss of Ancient North American Civilization. All right, this book was written by a guy named Roger G. Kennedy. All right, and he wrote about what they saw, what his people saw. Ephraimites, what they saw when they came over here to the America, what's now called the Americas. All right, at that time they called it the New World, and they were pushing something called manifest destiny, to where they believed that science overruled indigenous lifestyle, all right, or spirituality, so they believed that science overweighed that, and that their ideas were golden. Like, they believed that Esau, at their what they call white supremacy, was supposed to be, and it was supposed to be at that moment, because these things had to happen for them to become the wicked. Their story had to be written. They couldn't have just been sitting in the caves, and especially in Petra, and they couldn't have been sitting in those caves and just been the wicked. They could have still been that, but they had to play the part as the wicked that rules the world. And that's why the Lord made these things happen upon the earth with the Greeks and the Romans. All right. Brought them out of the pit, man. All right. So they were in, what do you call Mount Seir. Now, what you had is what you call the Quakers, coming over here to the Americas. And after you had Plymouth Rock, and them being spread out from Philadelphia, New York, and going west and going south, Esau, taking over, they found what they knew, and is the truth, as the lost tribes of Israel, all right, which was the northern kingdom. And they knew that at the time. And today Esau doesn't want to believe it, or they still want to try to hide it, So this is an excerpt from the book that this guy wrote named Roger Kennedy. All right, right here. It says, probably of Jewish descent of the lost tribes of Israel. So he was saying that these Native Americans that he saw, when I go to the library today, I'm gonna get this book. But he was saying that these Native Americans that he saw and ran into, they were probably of Jewish descent of the lost tribes of Israel. All right, and they couldn't have been Jewish, meaning something pertaining to or like, like somebody saying you're acting girlish or boyish, meaning you're acting like. No, that's what these fake Jews are today over there in our land. All right, the Khazars. And the children of Israel, the true lost tribes of Israel, the lost sheep, were over here on this land calling themselves Indians. All right, what they call Indian land. And they were calling themselves all these different tribal names. But they had, all of them had our ancient culture mingled into their tribal ways. All right. So it says Hidden Cities, the Discovery and Loss of Ancient North American Civilization. Roger Kennedy, page 225, all the way to 229. All right. So he said the Lost Tribes of Israel. All right. This is from Breaking News Israel page. I don't know what this is, like a news site. And it says, when Europeans, which is Ephraimites, first glimpsed Native Americans more than 400 years ago, many were convinced that they had discovered the lost tribes of Israel. At closer look, the connections are astounding. See, just like the prophecies, they are astounding. They match up perfectly with the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the speckled birds that scattered around the four corners of the earth, mingled amongst these nations that are Israelites. This hidden association has taken on greater importance recently as the two nations face similar threats and perhaps even a common messianic vision quest. Unmistakably, traces of Jewish prayer or Israelite prayer echo in the voice of Joseph Riverwind. And that's him right here. All right. He's of the Taino. It says Kasiki Amahura. Hopefully I got his name right. Or Joseph Riverwind. Northern Arawak-Tainos. So I think the Tainos are Puerto Ricans. All right, what they call rich port. But the original Ephraimites, if that's Tainos, I think those are the Ephraimites. Top tribe of the northern tribe. All right. It says the Amahura war chief of the northern Arawak nation, which I think is Hebrew as well, that word, and the indigenous peoples of South America and Caribbean. All right. As he sings, Shema, Shema, Naina, Papaska, Hoya, Ya. He translates this ancient Native American song for breaking Israel news. Listen, listen. This is basically the Shema prayer, man. All right. Listen, listen, people. As you gather together, we will dance before the Creator. This is strongly reminiscent of the Israelite prayer, Shema. All right, they got Shema, but it's supposed to be Shema, which literally means to hear. All right, you have right here, it says, matter of fact, I'm going to get in the lexicon. All right, I'm going to read it first. It says Deuteronomy 6 and 3. I'm going to read from 3. The point is in 4. It says, hear therefore, O Israel. And that's important because the same voice, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, his voice went out to the children of Israel from the beginning, and it's still going out to the children of Israel in these last days. And observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as Yahweh power of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. All right, that's growth, strength, and riches and wisdom. All right, and the increase of our nation. It says, hear, O Israel, and healing, right? Yahweh our power. See, this is the point. This is the Shema prayer right here. It says, hear, O Israel. All right. And that's what they said, Shema, Shema, right? Look at this. And they didn't, it says, right here, Shema. All right, Shema. The same thing they were saying, but in our Hebrew, it would be Shemai. All right. It would be an I, Shemai. But it would be, in the ancient Proto-Hebrew, it would be Shemai, which means what? To hear, listen, obey. All right. And at that time, the Native American Indians, just like Jake, the so-called Negroes, the West Indians and Haitians, we were lost, completely dead, man, in a dead state, spiritually dead. All right. And he said that, man. This is Psalms 82 and 6. I have said, ye are gods. See, the Lord said, we are really the true powers and gods upon the earth. Only when we hear our power and we connected to him. But at that time, we were cut off. You see that still. And the Lord didn't send his spirit yet to make us stand upon our feet. All right. We were walking around spiritually dead upon our feet. It says, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Who is it talking to? All right. It's talking about the children of Israel. All of us are children of the Most High. You know, but 2/3 of our people are children of the wicked right now. But at the end of the day, they're always going to be Yahweh's children. But, you know, they're going to be brought back in the kingdom. It says, but ye shall die like men. You see that? So the Native Americans, us, civil wars, the Revolutionary Wars, Seminole Wars, right? Civil rights movement, whatever you want to call it. Jim Crow. Well, we died like men. It says, and fall like one of the princes, man. All right. So our whole nation fell. We were cut off as a nation. This is Jeremiah 50:6. My people have been lost sheep. See, the lost tribes of Israel. All right. We have been that. And the Lord's telling the world that his people have been lost sheep without Yahweh Shai in the world being Gentiles scattered amongst the nations. It's that clear, man. You know, my people, who is his people? The children of Israel have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. All right. And the chiefs, their tribal leaders, went into witchcraft and all kind of different demonic culture, just like the Mayans, just like the so-called Negroes went into Christianity and paganism and African arts, you know, witchcraft and voodoo and shit, like the Haitians, and so on, man. And even the Tainos into voodoo. So it says what? My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All right. So us being scattered around the world, we forgot our resting place. But guess what? This is John 14:26. But the Comforter, that's the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the Spirit of truth. All right. And our people didn't have that. Now we have it today. And all the tribes are coming together of the children of Israel. It says we're coming together in the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But the comfort, which is the Holy Ghost, well, not all the tribes, but the elect of those tribes are coming together. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, man. See, that's the Comforter. The Holy Spirit is the Comforter, all right? There's the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It comforts us. The truth comforts you, man. That's just it. And builds your confidence. Faith. Whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. See? So the Lord is going to what? Bring us into remembrance. All right. And now we're being brought into remembrance in these times because the Spirit was sent. This is Revelations 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. And what's the great city? America. All right. What they call their great conquest, the golden city. Right. Manifest destiny. It says, and their dead bodies, whose dead bodies? According to Ezekiel 37, it's talking about the children of Israel. We're going to be over here in America. You had the northern, the Gadite, the northern tribe, and the southern tribe over here, man. We haven't been together since, fully, like in mass, since 722 or 7th century, 6th century AD, BC. You know, and now the Lord brought us all back together. Especially through the internet, the unicorn. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually, see, it's a spiritual thing. And it's called what? Sodom, right? And Egypt, right? On YouTube, you can't even say nothing about homosexuality. You get your page deleted. Red flag right there. Period. That, what this society community is based on. And Egypt, all right, so America is spiritually Egypt. The plagues that's going to come here, all the idolatry, the captivity of our people, right? And it says, where also our Lord was crucified. And the way the Lord delivered us out of Egypt, this is the second Egypt that we're going to be delivered from, all right? And also where they oppressed the children of Israel, and causing Yahushua to be in long suffering, all right? And he's long suffering his people being tormented and being wicked. And through our people being wicked, it says what? They crucified the Lord afresh. All right. He's not coming back down here to get on the cross. 2/3 of our people that's being wicked, they're going to have to bear their punishment now. But the elect are going to be kept. So it says, we were all scattered and spiritually dead. And it says what? Verse 9. And they of the people, the Europeans, Esau, and kindreds, all these nations, they were what? Confederate against us. And tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, 350 years, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So, so they were walking around spiritually dead. That's what that means. And graves meaning what? Rest. So they didn't teach us the truth, so we'll have rest. They didn't tell us the truth. So Yahushua is giving us that rest. All right. Instead, we were walking around spiritually dead, meaning vile and sick and stinking and just dead, representing what? Powerless. Without Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua in the truth, we're powerless. All right. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry. And you got your little Christmas shit coming up. They used to send postcards to each other, slavery images on it. But they say we teach hate. It's crazy. And shall send gifts to one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And they the two prophets is talking about is the northern kingdom and southern kingdom. And Esau started their whole their Wall Street, their whole stock market, their barter and trade system. The original commodity or capital in America was slaves. All right. It says after 3 days and a half, so after 350 years, so around the 50s and 60s, the spirit of life, see, the spirit of truth, the comforter was sent from Yahweh, entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And that's what's happening right now, today as we speak. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And that's about to happen next, soon. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Whew, and that's about to happen, man. When the Lord show up, he's going to bring us out of this captivity. This is Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts of armies, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, meaning the northern tribe and the southern tribe, the two prophets, were oppressed together. All right. And that hasn't happened since Babylon and Assyria. Now we're in America being oppressed together. All right. In this current age. All right. Where America was the dominant beacon for Esau. All right. Outside of Europe. It said what? We were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. All right. And that's why the Lord said, he that letteth will let until he be removed out of the way. And the word let means to what? To restrain, to hold. And the ones that's holding us back through fraud is Esau. All right. But the Lord says this, their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. He shall thoroughly plead their cause. He's going to fight for us, man, and everything that happened to us. Because ain't nobody on the earth doing it. They're going to deliver us. And that's been proven. It says that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. All right. A sword is upon the Chaldeans. And today Esau represents the Chaldeans. Saith Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, America, and upon her princes, your rulers, your politicians, the descendants of these founding fathers of America, and upon her wise men, man, all your nobles, your judges, your preachers, your leaders. All right, getting back to this, the Tainos, it says, Shemai, this is the prayer that they do. All right. The Amahura war chief of the northern Arawak nation, the indigenous peoples of South America and Caribbean, as he sings, Shema, Shema, which means hear, hear, and says, Na, Yana, Papaska, Hoya, Ya. And he translated this ancient Native American song for being, for breaking Israel news. Listen, listen, people, it's supposed to say Israel, as you gather together, we will dance before the Creator. It's supposed to say, us and Yahweh are one. Shema Yasha Allah, Allah Hayanawa, Shema Yasha Allah, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh Akkad. All right. This is strongly reminiscent of the Jewish prayer, Shema, which literally means hear. So they were Israelites, man. We already know that, but it's just proving more. These two worlds are embodied in Chief Riverwind, a descendant of both Native Americans and B'nai Anusum, Jews who hid their identity as a result of the Spanish Inquisition. So they hid their identity as being the Israelites, man. So they knew they were Israelites too back then. All right, let me take a screenshot of that, do some research on that. There you go. It says Jews who hid their identity as a result of the Spanish Inquisition, man. For him, the connection between Native Americans and Judaism is clear. Among my people, our ancient name for God is Yahya. Come on, man, say it ain't so. Right? I know it's going to make a lot of Edomites mad, but yeah, it is what it is. So Yahya, which is abbreviation for Yah, which means he, but his name is not he. His name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushua. He, the deliverer, the supreme spirit of spirits. And Yahweh is the supreme spirit of spirits. Very similar to Yahweh. All right, they got Yahweh, but Yahweh. That's Yiddish that they have up here right now. That's Yiddish. Yiddish just means Jewish, so it's not true Hebrew. It's a gumbo of German and Slavic languages. So the true Hebrew would be Yahweh. All right, Paleo Ancient Hebrew, or what they call Proto-Hebrew. Anyway, Chief Riverwind explained, among my wives, right? That's another key point. Our people were into polygyny. All right, not polygamy when a woman has more than one man, but polygyny when one man has multiple wives. The Anik to Waya Cherokee. Wow. Israelites, man. Just like a lot of Jakes that came over here on slave ships, they had Israelite names. They called God Yohiwa, the Cherokees. Ain't that something? All right, got his initial, the tetragrammaton in there. YHWH. All right, Yahweh. And the similarities don't stop there. They carried an ark into battle. these Native American tribes, which are the North American Indians, the northern tribe of Israel, part of it. They carried an ark into battle, celebrate 7 feasts, kept a 7th day of rest, had cities of refuge, just like in the scriptures. The Lord told the children of Israel to what? Create a city of refuge. So if something happened and a person couldn't reside amongst their people, they still have somewhere to go. All right. Or until things were figured out. It says, that's crazy, man. It says, and they don't eat pork. Esau was killing some pork. Esau would bring pigs. The Europeans would, Edomites would bring pigs over to the Americas on the boats. In the Spanish Inquisition, they used those to survive. They had those horses that later became what do you call them? Mustangs? I forgot what they call, man. Out there in Utah. All right, that was later let free by the Gadites. I'll say Northern tribe because you don't know which ones they are. But Esau brought the pigs over here, swine over here on the boats, and they would feed their families, and the pigs would multiply fast, so they would use that on the boats to eat. And that's why they came over here sick and stinking. And they are the Edomites. You look up Herod. His dad was Antipater the Edomite. They know him as, he's written in history as Herod the Edomite. But they mad at us for saying Edomite on damn YouTube. In this damn society. Of course you would, because that's who's ruling right now. But that's all about the change. It says, though the eerie etymological similarities may be coincidental, archetypal I hope I'm saying that right, goodness. Archetypal themes also connect the spirituality of Native Americans to the Bible. Chief Riverwind told a Choctaw story about how the Creator came to a man called Noah. Just like in Egypt, they have a person called Noach. Talking about Noah, man. All right. And told him the world would be covered with water. That sound familiar? The man was told to make a great raft, just like Noah, right? Which Noah didn't make a long boat. It was a circle raft, just like a chariot. All right. It says to save mankind. The stories come from oral traditions which date to pre-Columbian times. So the Columbians, these are Columbians too. All right. Oh, that's they talking about Columbus. Another Native American story tells of a time when the world was all one landmass. Right. That was called Pangea. All right. And we were all one tribe, explained Chief Riverwind, the Edomites. All right. We tried to build a sky tower. Dang, it's crazy, man. They knew. They knew about Nimrod in the scriptures in Genesis where the Lord scattered the languages. Well, the Tower of Babel. We tried to build a sky tower to the Creator. These are pre-missionary oral traditions. They are passed down through specially trained storytellers who are forbidden from changing a single word. So they kept it secret, just like the slaves, the Negro slaves would do, Judite slaves or Benjamite slaves would do. And we would sing slave hymns, slave songs. Like swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. That's it. I looked over Jordan, and what do I see? Coming forth to carry me home. So they were talking about Jordan, Yaradan, which means paradise, over there near Israel. All right, the Jordan River. So our people knew. Harriet Tubman, she was of the Shawnee tribe, I think, and she wore fringes and had a head covered, and she knew she was an Israelite. George Washington Carver knew he was an Israelite. You can go on and on. And it says this, so they couldn't change a single word that, this transoceanic cultural connection goes against most scientific theories. And it was science against, their customs of living at that time. All right, indigenous living, lifestyle. What they call savages, but they weren't savages. Our people were being wicked, but Esau is a natural savage. And there's savagery. That's why the Lord called them brute beasts. All right, it says theories about the origins of the Native Americans. Most anthropologists theorize that the Native Americans are descended from Siberian Mongolians who migrated to North America. That's bullshit. So, let me see, get some scriptures now. Whoa, let me get this real quick. Check this out. Some Anish Nabai, let me screenshot this one. It says some Anish Nabai Chippewa believe they are from the tribe of Ephraim. Jackpot. All right, didn't know that was gonna be there. And that's one of them statements where you hear somebody chair move and fall out the chair or some shit. It says some Anish Nabai Chippewa believed they are from the tribe of Ephraim, or Apariam, which is true. That's true, which means to boil over or ferment. All right, and I think what is the word Taino? I think Taino means to ferment over. I can't remember. I did some research on it in the past. Chief Riverwind explained Anish Nabi is amazing, similar to the Hebrew words Anshi Navai, people of the prophet. They lived on the coast, but their legends say that before that they came from across the great waters, and that's according to Second Ezra's chapter. I think it's 9. No, let me get this real quick. This is Second Ezra 13, and it's talking about the deliverance of the elect of Israel, the northern tribe and the southern kingdom. All right, it goes hand in hand with Revelation chapter 7, 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe, and an innumerable multitude. It says, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes, all right, which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king. And I did a lesson on it, man, but that happened in 722 BC, from 725 to 722. All right. And you had Sargon II, all right, that took us out of that land, all right, and brought us into different parts of Assyria. All right, it started with Salmanasseh the king, but it finished it. Sargon, his son, finished it. Us being exiled. All right, it says in the time of Hosea the king, and that was around 722 BC, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. All right, and later what you call the Middle Passage, I think it is. And those currents are still there to this day. And so came they into another land, but they took that other another land is America. All right. Okay. It says, but they took this counsel among themselves, right? And Ephraim wound up being the spearhead or the leader that led our people over here to the Americas. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathens, so the Syrians are heathens as well, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, man. All right. So what's that place? America. All right. The bitter land, the new world. All right. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, what you call the narrow passage. All right. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over, man. So the Lord was showing them miracles. For through that country, there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years, man. All right. So that was a long travel from that area over here to the Americas. And the same region is called Arsareth. All right. So this region of the earth is called what? Arsareth. You know, which means I forgot what the hell it means. It's been so long. But another land, if I'm not mistaken. All right. It says let me get back to this article real quick. Because anyway, yeah, I forgot where I was at. I think Arsareth just means another land. There's another word for saying America, you know, a bitter land or another land. Or that region. Now after the scripture I read in 2nd Ezra, you have the northern tribes which came over here around the 3rd century BC. All right, around the time before the Diadochi was being formed in Alexander, and they came over here from what you call the Black Sea. They made their way through the narrow passage. All right, I'm gonna do some lesson on it. Probably Yahweh soon. Some Anish Nabai Chipua believe that they are from the tribe of Ephraim, which they are correct. Chief Riverwind explained, Anish Nabai or Nabi is amazing, similar to the Hebrew words Anshe Navai. That's Yiddish, but you know, probably like Anash Nawa. People of the prophet. They lived on the coast, but their legends say that before that they came from across the great waters, the Euphrates. We have cave drawings of these ships that are very similar to the drawings of Phoenician ships in history books, man. It's crazy, right? It's deep stuff, man. So we know about the Decalogue stone over there, where it says they have they call it the Paleo stone. Let me show it. All right, it's called the Los Lunes Decalogue stone, which you know, it shows evidence of the ancient Hebrews, you know. So it makes people question, like, yo, were they over here? Yeah, they were. But this stone is huge, and they haven't moved it, and it was here before they showed up over in Mexico. All right, where Issachar is supposed to be at, and a lot of northern tribe, how should I say it, Seminoles, Native Americans, you know, were over there in Mexico, and they were all fighting and protecting each other and warring against each other too, and had trade routes with each other. All right. back in the 1800s or the 1500s. Now on it, what you're looking at right here is the Ten Commandments. All right. A part of it where they said they wanted to keep the commandments of Yahweh. And if I can find it, his name is on here. And they give honor to the Phoenicians. They call this the Phoenician stone, but the Phoenicians were those Amorites and Syrians, and a lot of those Assyrians. So that's not our. A Phoenician was another word for the Syrians that was given to them by the Greeks. All right, that's a Greek terminology. So that word shouldn't even exist. Phoenician. All right, the Greeks called them that. They called us that, Phoenicians. All right, so meaning people over there in that area, that region. All right, and here go right here, Yahweh, Yah, Ha, Wa, Ha, Yahweh, right there. All right, so Lasha, Wa'ah, and they put the dot as a separation. I do that now when I write my Hebrew. When I write Hebrew out, I put dots in between it to let you know the separation of the words. It's crazy, man. All right, and that goes along with that scripture in 2 Ezra 13, where it said they sought to keep the laws which they couldn't keep amongst these heathens. All right, so they fled those areas, and later on pushed on through the great waters and came over to the Americas. This theory is astounding, and it was all set up by the Most High to bring us all together. All right, but archaeological artifacts connected North America to ancient Israel are not uncommon. Connecting the Decalogue stone found in New Mexico is an 80-ton boulder. They ain't moving. They're gonna do some real excavation for that. On which an abridged version, right, of the 10 Commandments is inscribed, man. So they knew the 10 Commandments back then. In ancient Paleo-Hebrew. And it's not supposed to be called Paleo-Hebrew. The word Paleo just means ancient. In the 8th century BC, you had Tiglath-Pileser, king of the Assyrians. And later on, when they were battling with Hezekiah, the Assyrians, you had both languages coined as ancient. All right, you had the Aramaic, right, and you had the Proto-Hebrew, but they later called it what do you call it? Paleo, meaning ancient. At that time, they called it ancient, paying homage to what's his name? Right, Eber. Sheesh, I can't remember the name. Eber, which means I borrow. Now this is to stay on topic, but then they called it what? The Aramaic, paying homage to Aram. All right. So now that was during the time of Babel, Tower of Babel. When the languages were separated, and the Lord scattered these all of us, and separated everybody up according to their languages and their boundaries and their cultures. All right. And it says, so it's written in the Paleo, or what you call Proto-Hebrew. All right. The word proto means first Hebrew. Because you had Canaanitic Hebrew, you had different versions of the Hebrew, because the first language was Hebrew. So when the Lord divided the languages, they were still speaking different dialects of Hebrew. All right. But the thing is, they were speaking it wrong. So the Lord went with who? Shem. All right. You had an Eber. and Arphaxad. That's very important names to remember. So people like Arphaxad, all right, and Seth, and Abraham. So the Lord chose these people, all right. So it says the stone is controversial and has never been tested in a laboratory or dated by scientific means, right? Because they don't want to know, or they want to hide it. If authentic, it would prove a pre-Columbian connection between North America and Israel. And they have a lot of connections between the North American tribes and the children of Israel. All right. The Newark Holy Stones, meaning Newark, New Jersey, are artifacts discovered in 1860 with a cluster of ancient Indian burial mounds near Newark, Ohio. Oh, Ohio. Okay, all these years I thought he was talking about Newark, New Jersey. All right, Newark, Ohio. That makes more sense because that's where a lot of the Seminoles were pushed into the Ohio area. All right, in Oklahoma, and the native tribes and the Cherokee. The mounds are one of the largest connections from an ancient American Indian culture known as the Hope Well that existed from approximately 1 BCE to 500 BCE. What? Similar to the Decalogue stone, the Newark stones are inscribed with biblical verses in Hebrew. It's crazy. All right, and these are the Decalogue stones that they found on a Gadite or Northern Tribe gravesite. All right, it's crazy, and it had 10 Commandments inscribed on it, or Hebrew. This is Genesis 41 and 52. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for Yahweh have caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And even today, Ephraim, what they call rich port, that land over there, they call port of riches. And they oppress our people, the Tainos, or what you call Ephraimites, all right? Aparium, which means to be fruitful. And Taino means to ferment over or boil, carry over. All right, same concept. All right, so the Lord has increased our brothers, but the problem is they're being afflicted. All right, so this is hell for them as it is for us. So the same way we were what? Oppressed together in these lands under the same enemy, Esau, as it spoke of in Deuteronomy 28, the curses. The Lord said what? Deuteronomy 30. And this is what's happening right now, man, according to Ezekiel 37. And Esau doesn't like it. Deuteronomy 30 and 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, all right, the affliction, the blessing and the curse. See, and now comes the blessing. All right, we've been through the curse now. All right, first comes the night, then comes the light, the day, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy power hath driven thee. See that? And they call them into mind. Just like today, we're calling it into mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy power hath driven thee. So we're scattered around the four corners of the earth, and then we were trying to remember and retain it, but the Lord did away with us. And now, in acceptable time, he's accepted us again and allowing us to call on him and return to him. All right. And in the lands where we were driven. So we return to him what? Spiritually. All right. He's looking for a contrite heart. That's it. Sincerity. And shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. All right. So, and And that's what's happening today, man, as we speak. And the Lord promised us that in the kingdom, once he delivers the elect, we're going to keep the laws perfectly. All right. And this is a reward to our people. The blessing, the promise, the glory, according to Romans chapter 9, of who these things belong to. Romans chapter 9, it says who? Israel, according to the flesh, there's them and their seed after them. All right. That then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity. And he's doing that right now by bringing America down and Esau down, and us winning against them in wisdom. All right. And through prophecies coming to pass. And have compassion upon thee, and will return. Then, Salaki, that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from among all nations. Not a new nation. He said, gather thee from among all nations. So you're not going to get Esau. You're not going to get these other heathens. He's going to get Israelites that are scattered amongst these nations. Whither Yahweh thy power have scattered thee, right? There's a time to scatter stones, and there's a time to gather stones. There's a time to scatter us into being Gentiles, and there's a time to call us back into being what? Israelites, princes, sons of Yahweh, gods again. If any of thine be driven out, which we were driven out, unto the outmost parts of the heaven, with Pangea and the northern tribes coming over here to Arsareth, and with us going through Greece and Rome and Babylon, and Rome eventually coming over to the Americas, and, through slavery. It says what? If any of thine be driven out unto the outermost parts of heaven, from thence will I, Yahweh, thy power, gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. All right. And he's going to fetch us by sending his angels out to gather the elect from around the four corners of the earth. All right. And Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land, that's Amos chapter 9, which thy fathers possessed. All right. So our names are tied to that land. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, 12 tribes. Those lands were named after us by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the creator of it. So we have a plot in our name, promised, in a plot of land. And thou shalt possess it. It's coming, man. The kingdom. And he will do thee good. And nobody can imagine what that's like. Paul said that, eye have not seen, ear have not heard the things which Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has, speaking now verbatim, has for those that love him, man. And multiply thee above thy fathers, man. So he said the least among us shall be greater than any other prophet, even greater than John, Elijah. And see, and Yahweh thy power will circumcise thy heart. How is he going to do that? By giving us the new bodies. All right. The new covenant. All right. And circumcising our minds, right, in the laws in our inward part. And the heart of thy seed, man, and our children. So our children are going to be perfect, in wisdom now, in faith now, and in the kingdom, in every aspect of being perfect, in the sight of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, according to his will. To love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart. That's right. And the word love means to what? Keep his commandments. So we're going to be able to keep his commandments perfectly with all our heart. And with all thy soul, all right, with our body and soul, that thou mayest live, live forever, eternity. And Yahweh thy power, and our nation will live, we'll be alive as a nation instead of dead. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies. Who's our enemies? The Europeans, the Ephraimites. And they're still showing it till today. All right. The same ones that came and raped, robbed, and murdered our people, and still are here licking our wounds, throwing salt on our wounds. And thou shalt return and obey. So like, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies. Who is that? Esau. All right. He said, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. So he said, what? And the cup of slavery is going to pass through unto them. They're going to drink it down double. And the Lord shall put all these curses upon thine enemies. And we're seeing that. And on them that hate thee. And they've shown nothing but hate towards us, man. Racist, what they call white supremacy or manifest destiny, which persecuted thee, and they persecuted us. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I commanded thee this day. This is Ezekiel 37 and 21. And say unto them, there you go. 37 and 19. Say unto them, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, right, which is in the hand of Ephraim, which is the northern kingdom, being ruled by, the blessing was put on Ephraim, all right, and Manasseh, but Ephraim was made the leader, the blessing of the firstborn that was taken from Reuben, and the tribes of Israel, so all the northern tribes, kingdoms, and his fellows, and so it's a lot of people, man. It's a big nation. And we'll put them even with the stick of Judah, meaning the stick represents the measure of Judah, which is who? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, all right? And make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand, and the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. That's why we go out and teach and bid our people to the marriage. And say unto them, say unto them, all right, not to the heathens, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, right, he said, when you go not into any of the ways of the Samaritan, but when you go, teach Israel. I'm speaking now verbatim, from Matthews. Tell them the kingdom of heaven is at hand, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I will take the children of, it says, and say unto them, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen. And that's what we're supposed to say today. And they hate us for that. Instead, they say, we're teaching hate. No, you're teaching hate. All right, you people show hate on a daily basis. All right, these heathens. So the Lord said he's going to deliver us from among the heathens. All right. So that kills your church and Gentile false doctrine, saying that all nations can be saved. Nope. Only the children of Israel are going to be what? Taken from among the heathens, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. Where we said we got them plots of land at, right? And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. Yahushua. All right. Yahushua, right? He's going to be in the midst of us. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. All right. Check this out. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols. And that's the beautiful part, man. We're not going to be divided against each other. And also, it's not going to be 2/3 and 1/3. It's going to be just one nation, elect, holy, righteous upon the earth. It says what? But neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, man. And that's the beauty of it. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua going to keep his promise and cleanse the temple and deliver it up to Yahweh. Nor with their detestable things, their swine, their wickedness, and their philosophies, nor with any of their transgressions, meaning their continual sin, our nation. But I will save them. Yahweh Shai shall save us he shall save them out of their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. All right, He's gonna cleanse us, man, giving us new bodies, a new start, New Jerusalem. All right, Yerushalayim, this new city of peace. So shall they be my people, and I will be their power.